Welcome to the channel, everyone. Today we dive into a chilling hypothetical scenario in the Caribbean Sea. An aging Venezuelan submarine sets its sights on the most advanced U.S. aircraft carrier ever built, the USS Gerald R. The captain thinks this is his moment of glory. But what happens next changes everything. Hit subscribe now. This story will keep you on the edge of your seat. It starts at dusk, 300 miles off Venezuela's coast. The Sabalo, a Cold War-era Type 109 diesel-electric submarine, quietly leaves port. Once proud symbol of Venezuelan naval power, now it's the last operational boat in their fleet, carrying a crew of 31 and just 14 torpedoes. The target, the USS Gerald R. The most expensive warship in history at over $13 billion. A floating city with 5,000 crew, 75 aircraft, and enough firepower to dominate any sea. Venezuela sees this as the ultimate political statement until they realize the waters are far from empty. The Sabalo is no slouch. Coated in anechoic tiles to absorb sonar, it can run silent for up to 72 hours at 120 meters depth, hiding in the thermocline layer where sound bends and disappears. The captain believes he's invisible. He's wrong. For 4 days, the Sabalo stalks the carrier group. Every ping, every propeller noise carefully avoided. What the captain doesn't know, the entire Caribbean is one of the most watched bodies of water on Earth, thanks to the U.S. Navy's invisible underwater wall. The U.S. has been listening since day one. SOSUS arrays on the seafloor, towed arrays from Arleigh destroyers, and P-8 Poseidon aircraft dropping sonobuoys 120 per mission create a net that nothing escapes. The Sabalo was detected 50 miles ago. Now the moment arrives. The captain orders torpedo tubes flooded. The SU heavyweight torpedo wire-guided, 23 knots to 160 kilograms warhead is prepared. In 90 seconds, it will be ready to fire. That's all the time the U.S. needs. As the tube doors open, the noise is unmistakable. USS QS-5 3-hull-mounted sonar picks it up instantly. The threat is classified in seconds. A Virginia-class attack submarine already shadows the Sabalo at 1,200 meters silent, unseen, and ready. The U.S. doesn't need to fire, they simply demonstrate presence. Active sonar pings bracket the Sabalo from 2 directions. The captain hears the unmistakable sound of being hunted. Panic sets in. The 90-second window is closing. The Sabalo tries to evade, but every maneuver burns battery and oxygen. CO2 scrubbers overload. The sub has minutes before it must surface or suffocate. At the surface, the Sabalo is surrounded by U.S. ships at a safe distance. No boarding, no shots, just overwhelming presence. The crew raises a white flag, mission over. The U.S. response, professional restraint. Photos are taken for intelligence. The sub is allowed to return home, no escalation. Just a clear message, we saw you first. Back in Venezuela, the Sabalo is docked for maintenance. The Navy quietly shelves offensive submarine doctrine. One failed attempt changes everything. This is the new reality of naval warfare. It's no longer about who shoots first, it's about who sees first. The U.S. Navy's invisible wall ensures threats are neutralized before they become attacks. The USS Gerald R. remains the most protected ship on Earth. Layered defense, Virginia-class subs, Arleigh destroyers, P-8 aircraft, sonobuoys, towed arrays all working together in perfect harmony. The Mark 48 ADCAP torpedo 55 knots, fiber optic guided, AI-assisted waits in the wings. It never needs to be used. Deterrence is complete. Venezuela's Navy once dreamed of blue water power. Today, it is a shadow of itself. One submarine, one failed mission, one lesson learned the hard way. The Caribbean remains one of the most watched seas. SOSUS, sonobuoys, drones, satellites, nothing moves underwater without the U.S. knowing. This is not about aggression, it's about deterrence. The U.S. Navy shows overwhelming force so that no one dares test it. The 90 seconds that could have started a war became 90 seconds that proved peace through strength. No shots fired, no lives lost, just superior technology and flawless execution. The real winner, the submariners who never fired a shot. The silent service that keeps the peace by staying ready and unseen. Venezuela's lesson is clear. In the 21st century, Challenging U.S. naval power means facing an invisible wall you cannot penetrate. This scenario is hypothetical, but the technology is real. The U.S. Navy has spent decades building this dominance. It works because it is never tested. The Caribbean is calm today, but that calm is enforced by constant vigilance, advanced sensors, and the quiet certainty that any threat will be seen long before it can strike. The USS Gerald R sails on, protected by the most sophisticated underwater defense network ever created, and that's exactly how it should be. In naval warfare, the greatest victories are the ones that never happen. This is one of them. No casualties, no escalation, just pure technological dominance. The U.S. Navy doesn't seek conflict, it prevents it. Through readiness, intelligence, and overwhelming capability. That's the true meaning of sea power in the modern age. The quiet confidence of the U.S. Navy comes from decades of investment in layered, multi-domain defense. It's not just one system, it's an ecosystem. Surface ships, submarines, aircraft, satellites, and now increasingly autonomous underwater vehicles that operate for weeks without human intervention, turning the entire ocean floor into a listening post. The USS Gerald R is more than a ship, it's a mobile command center with the most advanced electromagnetic aircraft launch system in the world. EMLs can launch aircraft at higher rates with less stress on airframes, meaning more sorties, faster response, and greater deterrence. No one tests it because the cost would be catastrophic. The Mark 48 torpedo, carried by Virginia-class subs, is not just a weapon, it's a thinking weapon. With fiber optic guidance, active or passive homing, and AI-assisted target discrimination, it can avoid decoys and follow evasive maneuvers. It waits in the shadows, never used, yet always feared. Venezuela's aging fleet is a stark contrast. The Type 209, while once advanced, is now 40+ years old in design. Limited battery life, noisy pumps, and outdated sonar make it vulnerable in modern waters. One mission exposed decades of underinvestment. The real power of U.S. deterrence lies in what is never shown. The number of Virginia-class subs shadowing carrier groups is classified. The exact range of towed arrays is secret. The density of sonobuoy drops is unknown. Uncertainty itself is the weapon. After the incident, the Sabalo is quietly decommissioned. Venezuela's submarine force is reduced to 0 operational boats. The dream of challenging U.S. sea power ends not with a bang, but with silence. Meanwhile, the USS Gerald R continues its mission, projecting power, protecting sea lanes, and ensuring freedom of navigation. Every day it sails is a reminder that superior technology and readiness keep the peace. This scenario reminds us that naval warfare in the 21st century is increasingly about intelligence dominance, sensor fusion, and strategic patience. The side that sees, understands, and acts first wins without ever needing to fight. The Caribbean Sea remains peaceful today, not because of treaties alone, but because the invisible network of U.S. surveillance ensures that any potential aggressor knows the consequences before they even begin. The U.S. Navy's philosophy is simple: be so overwhelmingly capable that conflict becomes unthinkable. The story of the Sabalo is proof that this strategy works perfectly. In an age of hypersonic missiles, cyber warfare, and autonomous systems, the underwater domain remains the most unforgiving. Those who master it control the seas and the future. The crew of the Sabalo returned home not as heroes, but as cautionary tales. Their story is whispered in naval academies worldwide. Never underestimate the enemy that never needs to show its hand. The USS Gerald R and her escorts sail on, guardians of freedom, silent sentinels of peace. Their greatest victory, the battles that never had to be fought. In the end, naval power is not measured by how many ships you sink, but by how many conflicts you prevent. If you're new here and enjoyed this analysis of modern deterrence, consider joining the channel community. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's keep exploring the fascinating world of military technology together.